I do have some descriptions of exactly what I mean by a survey paper or descriptive study, demo, case study, and others. So I'll show you while we're waiting. So survey paper is really, I guess, I don't know whether you heard of this term, literature review. So whatever publications out there, you would like to collect as many of those publications as possible related to your research question, and then you try to really summarize what's out there and try to do your own analysis of what's been done so far. So that's a summary, I guess, piece in a very succinct way. And then you want to also provide your own critical analysis or feedback regarding what's available. So one of the things you can do is, like in the literature today, this is what's missing, and I believe that this should be done in the future. And that kind of critical analysis is going to be your contribution in this case, if you do a survey paper. So if you want to learn a particular topic, if you want to do some research, if you want to have some kind of a deeper insight on a particular topic, this is a great choice. If you always wanted to know more about, I don't know, machine learning, once again, that's like too broad. If you want to say, okay, I want to do my literature review on machine learning, that's too much. So we will have to narrow it down. But like how machine learning is being used in data-driven network security, still that's too ambiguous. So we need to drill down a little more there, but we just have to go through that process and make sure your topic is really concrete and specific. Descriptive study is more data oriented. So what we're expecting you to do is to collect data, and based on the data, you do some kind of an analysis. So this is where you do surveys and interviews, or you collect your own data on the internet, you do your analysis, and the analysis there is your contribution. And demonstration demo, I'm sure you know what I mean by this, but you really have to have this hands-on aspect of your term project done so that you can actually show me how everything works in a sort of a computing environment like a virtual machine or multiples of virtual machines and so on. So let's say you want to set up some kind of a system that collects all these different types of logs in your network, and you're talking about maybe like 5-6 different VMs, and you want to use a particular software product to prove the effectiveness of your approach and so on. And by the end of the process, you'll be able to show me everything working together in your own implementation. And then I have a case study. This one is a little interesting because I'm asking you to come up with your own scenario. So you'll be developing a proposal for example, in this case, a corporation of your own imagination. And just like what we did early on during our discussion activity, we talked about assuming you being a CISO and you proposing your new data-driven network security approach to the upper management and your fellow cybersecurity professionals and so on. So this could be a good example of what I mean by a case study. So if you want it to be more real life, realistic, if you really want to solve any kind of a problem at work using this kind of a platform, I think this is a good way of doing your term project. And like I said, the other option is anything else you want to propose, but I need to take a look at it and I need to give you an approval. Any questions? So those are all the different types of TOM project. And here are the requirements. So I have a proposal template, so maybe this is where you have some questions. But the reason why I have this template is to make sure you provide all the information I'm looking for. So it's very specific. The proposal template is very specific. So if you follow what's in the template, I think you'll be fine. But you know, your team information, what kind of project. So is it a survey? Is it a demo project? What are your research goals and questions? And then the methodology. Is it going to be a survey, descriptive studies, case studies, and so on? And what would be your contribution? And finally, your references. 15 references I'm expecting. And I'm asking each one of you on the team to find like 5 references each, and then make sure who's actually finding those references. We're doing it because I want to make sure each one of you are actually doing this on your team. Any questions about the template? So it's very straightforward, and the only challenge usually is how broad or how, I guess, abstract your research questions or research goals are, and it takes some time sometimes for us to narrow it down for you. So that will be a good exercise together once you're done with your proposal. So the proposal process is the first phase, and the second phase is you submitting your interim report with 1,000 words, and then the final report will have at least 3,000 words or more. And for the interim report, I want you to finish at least the introduction of the term paper, and then an outline of your paper already done, and some of the outlines with the headings already fleshed out. So with 1,000 words, I think you can definitely accomplish that. And within the introduction section, I want to see your research questions, research goals and objectives. I want to see your justifications for the significance of your term paper. And then I also want you to talk about your contributions through the term paper. Any questions about the requirements? Okay. And I think that's it. So it took me, oh wow, 30 minutes. That's a long time. I don't know. So yeah, now it's really a Q&A session. So it's for time for you to ask me questions. I mean, it doesn't have to be the Tom project. It could be anything. So, I mean, how are things going? So far, so good. This is week number 3, right? And the end of week number 3. And I feel a little guilty, by the way, because maybe we should schedule things better next time. But Friday, 8:30 p.m. I don't know whether you want to work anymore. You want to probably relax and forget about classes and things like that. But I noticed that a lot of you are actually working mostly during the weekends. So yeah, a lot of these assignments are being submitted on Saturdays and Sundays. So that's one thing I noticed. But anything you want to talk about the Tom project or the class in general?
So what's the best way to come up with a topic for
Oh,
our
okay.
term project?
Yeah, I would say whatever you feel passionate about, right? So in terms of network security, especially data-driven network security, because the course is on data-driven network security, right? And I want your term project to be related to data-driven network security. And if you just do the term project for the sake of finishing it, I mean, I don't think the final product will be as good as you would expect when you feel really passionate about the particular topic. So I want you to really find something you are passionate about and then work on that. So like at work, let's say you have to solve a problem and maybe you can turn that into your term project. Or if you always wanted to learn more about, something like how machine learning is being used in data-driven network security, or if you always wanted to learn more about any kind of a particular tools, let's say SIEM is your thing, you really want to learn more about SIEM, you can do some kind of a comparative study of all the SIEM tools out there. You can talk about the pros and cons and do some kind of a product analysis and so on. I'm sure some of those things are already done, maybe. So one thing is also, I mean, through the proposal process, I'll tell you, yeah, this is already done. You don't really have to do anything. Yeah.
It's over already.
Yeah. So that's, I think, what's really important here. You need to make sure what you're doing is unique. You know. So yeah, it's a little tricky there, but I mean, I'm not looking for a dissertation or I'm not looking for a thesis within one semester. So I'll be very understanding too. So don't be too afraid to ask questions. So let's say you pick the research question, whatever that is, like a couple sentences, and you send it to me, then well before the due date, I can give you feedback. So don't wait until the due date, and maybe you already have some meetings well before the due date about the topic and the proposal and so on. Then you come up with some kind of a draft research question and you send it to me, and I can give you feedback right there. So I think the key here is not waiting until the deadline. Yeah. Does that help, Colin?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I can tell this is worthy of your top project, or this is too trivial, or this is too broad, or yeah. I'm very good at actually having difficult conversations. That's my job these days. So yeah, very good. Anything else? Any other questions? Was it too boring? I could
No, not too boring.
I
It
could
was
have
very thorough,
I
so
could have made it more interesting. Yeah, but I'll combine this with some kind of a performance next time. Maybe I play the piano or something. Yeah,
yeah, the hard part is just thinking of a topic now that will please
yeah,
everyone on the team.
yeah, yeah. So like I said, maybe this week and just think about some topics, and then yeah, feel free to send me your ideas, and
Yeah, sure thing.
I'll brainstorm together with you. So it depends on, I guess, what your interest is. And I want it to be something practical too. So something you can use at your work, or something you can really take advantage of in your career and all those types of things. So I mean, the case study we were talking about is a good example, right? So you're a CISO. You don't have to be a CISO, but you want to propose an idea to your team, and you have to write this proposal. Maybe you can write a proposal through our term project and use it at work. So maybe Edwin has to do some kind of a project, and of course, anything, I guess, confidential, you don't want to include it in the, I guess, term project, but you can sort of disguise your term project as, I guess, not term project. I guess you can disguise your work project as a term project. You can do it that way. So I really want it to be something useful rather than something you throw away, forget about immediately. And this semester, I'm thinking about doing a small pet project where I want to put together some kind of a maybe digital book or something like that with all your contributions. So some of these term projects you're submitting, I'm going to try to select good quality submissions and then turn it into some kind of a publication. That's what I'm thinking about, but we'll see how that goes. But
Oh, that'd be cool.
yeah, so as a class together, we can produce some kind of a publication. That's my goal, and that's why I'm saying that this has to be something meaningful, something you want to feel passionate about. And I even have a title for this overall, I guess, book publication, digital book publication. It's I mean, I guess you can criticize it, but I call it Voices of Data-Driven Network Security or something like that. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. So that's the key. I think you really have to like what you're doing, right? Anything else? Because I don't want you to just stay here and waste your time. So if you don't have anything else to talk about, we can stop here. And yeah, if you have any other questions about the course, I mean, you can stay. But yeah, if you don't have anything else, I mean, we've already spent, I think, 40 minutes here. So I'll be here if you want to ask any questions. Good? Okay.
Good to
Thanks.
go.
Have a
Thank you.
great weekend.
Thank you.
Get some downtime.